Hi, my beautiful, amazing family in the light. So much love to all of you as I'm going to wait here for a moment to have a few people join so I can just go over a few things regarding where I am. Right now, just adjust my hair. Before the StarGate on Saturday, as well as the space of quarantine, I haven't gotten a chance to personally be on and just share what's moving through me and also hear from you what's moving through you. So I wanted to come live and hear from you. So waiting for a few of you to join in. And if you're joining in, thank you. I see it's coming in. Please introduce yourself when you're where you're joining me from. One of the things that I love is gaining a perspective with light stream where individuals are at. Hello, my dear beloved Demetrius. So much love to you. So much love, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Oh, good. Loud and clear, Star. I'm glad. That's always wonderful to hear that. And I'm also simultaneously recording this on my YouTube channel. So, welcome, everyone. Welcome to this Thursday, the second day of April. Hello, Stephanie. Thank you so much from Ontario. Thank you. Actually, from Stephanie, where are you joining us from? Darkwiz, is that how I say that? My apologies if I'm not pronouncing it clearly. From Ontario. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. So those of you that are joining in, I welcome you, and please just introduce yourself and where you're visiting from. That's beautiful. And I wanted to just share a little bit about what's going on. So as we get ready for this beautiful, massive StarGate on Saturday. So I just finished doing a video for those individuals who were waiting for the upcoming 7-day journey, prioritizing divine love above all, that was supposed to start on Saturday and end on the 11th. And it was an incredible 1 week, very powerful journey we were supposed to take together to go through this experience of honing in the presence of divine love within and truly living from it. Yet we have this quarantine, and I was guided to again put this on hold for until June, because there, particularly next week, if you have some of this internet going down, it's going to be difficult to facilitate that 1 week together, because we do need the connection with each other, and it is going to be on a private Facebook page. So I just made that announcement. You see it on my page that we're delaying this, which is perfect and wonderful, not a problem at all. And I also am going to video this on this here for a moment. And the other part is just to cap up. Last night, I was getting ready to start the 3rd season of The Protector that my son turned me on and watching. And just as I started it, the 3rd season, the first episode was about a pandemic with a man-made virus. And I went live with it last night. As soon as I watched it, I was like, oh my goodness, this is so wild. They have this on here. Again, Netflix. And I just wanted to know right away, when was this series released? And I Googled it, and it was released on March 6th, which is so interesting, March 6th of 2020. So if you know how Netflix works, when they create these 8 series, they have to shoot it so much before. The funding has to come way before. And the funding is interesting, which I'm going to talk to you guys for in a minute. So for a long time, the Hollywood movie industry was being funded by the Chinese investors. So there was a lot, particularly China, the funding was coming from. And the way I know this is because through a couple of my very, very good movie makers as well as directors that I had gotten this information. So I was getting very educated on this. And because of the changes that took place between US and China, China pooled its resources in being able to fund a lot of the Hollywood movie industry. So as a result of it, the funding started coming from Saudi Arabia. So this is all you can also look up and find your own research on it. So So when I saw this, I was like, this is so fascinating. And I'm going to dig into it a little bit more because it is very interesting. This Netflix series, whatever has funded this, say, the movie, the series, The Protector, who has funded it, has known about this virus, the pandemic that we are in right now. And that's what catches my interest. Again, nothing new. In 1981, through the book that I mentioned, let me pull this up for you. Give me a second so I can tell you what page it was in. This was also released. If you give me 1 second, I'm going to pull this up for you in just a second so you can see the page on it as well. Okay, so the book, The Eyes of Darkness by Dean Koontz, right? There was a page in here around 2020, a severe virus will go out through the whole globe. And then it talks about, then there's another page on here that talks about that it is in Wuhan and China and where this is taking place. So it's quite interesting. And again, here's the published date, May 10th, 1981. So nothing new, nothing new. This information has been leaking and leaking. Nothing new to us, at least lightworkers, to those of you who are following my channel here. So, but last night was very interesting. But interesting enough, as soon as I posted that, and something told me to also video record it on my photo booth on my laptop, because this morning when I woke up, my my live stream was not there. So I did upload it onto YouTube and I did post it on here. I have no idea how long it will be there, but it's currently there. Maybe that too will be taken down. And I really spoke about the importance of us right now being in our crystalline, really golden frequency, because we are immune. And one of the things about Protector, you know, he has his amulet, he has his shirt that becomes part of him. This is exactly the experience of what I went through 5 years ago with Yehsua, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, where they had asked me over 5 years ago, where Dad asked me to go to this stillness for 21 days because they wanted my diamond crystalline body to be activated. They wanted first my heart to become the diamond heart, and then my body become the crystalline diamond light body. I had no idea what that meant. But for 21 days, I had to sleep 13 to 15 hours a day, total rest, completely disconnect, and I had to allow this flame become a diamond. And then it took 365 days for my vessel to actually feed it and allow it to expand to finally become the 6 feet in front of me, 6 feet on my side, 6 feet behind and above and below. So I'm inside this crystalline diamond light body and allow it to become the diamond body. And it took another 3 years for me to hone in the languages of light from Lyran, from Pleiadians, Syrians, Arcturians, Andromedan, Afrocentaurians, the Timoians, the Avalians, the ancient dragons, the celestial. I mean, there were so many of them. So I can experience their tones and their sonic waves in the sacred geometric pattern so that I can allow it to be a vessel of communication so that it can work with the DNA, update and upgrade. So I can hone all of this before actually facilitating it as a living live activation transmission, which was granted to me past December 12, 21. Finally, my team is like, okay, now you can facilitate. And so for those of you who watched my video when I was on Solar-G last year, March 30th, I did a live transition from the collective through the different languages to help individuals move from one timeline to another timeline. So this can help support. Let me just close this other page off. Okay, so that I can assist individuals to move from one timeline to another timeline that is in coherence with this crystalline diamond light body. And many of you, over 500 transmissions I've done in private activation, because 2019 was all focused on that, and also the group activation. And all of this was in preparation for 2020 through the Galactic Federation of Light, as well as the intergalactic councils of light that had shared how important it was for individuals to be in this crystalline diamond light body so they can be the transformers, as a lot of things will be coming up that will be part of the dismantling of the structure. And for those of you, again, that have been following, if you saw my video about 3 or 4 days before the New Year's, before 2020, I spoke very clearly about this, that there's going to be several things coming up that my team has said, that we as the transformers in this crystalline diamond light body are part of uniting each other through these 12 rays of light. So as these 12 rays of light are radiating through our crystalline diamond light body, we're connecting in those networks of light. And each of these rays are one of the divine virtues in which are the principles that the Intergalactic Council of Light and the Galactic Federation of Light and the Legions of Light, all of them adhere to, the respect and vibrate to. So for those of us that work so closely with the Intergalactic Council of Light or with the Galactic Federation of Light, I really want to put out a couple of things. That's why some of the times I see people channeling or bringing information doesn't resonate with me at all, because in that very clear, crisp, direct communication that I have had for a number of years now with both Intergalactic Councils of Light as well as the Galactic Federation of Light, that to be able to communicate with Galactic Federation of Light, you have got to be at a very, very profound vibration level to bring the information through. And their language is so elegant in its transmission, its preciseness. It does not contain at all the human language. So with all due respect, when I get material people sent to me, oh, this was channeled by somebody, channeled Galactic Federation of Light. I'm like, sorry, dude, it's wonderful, it's beautiful, but it's not containing the vibrational field that I know that comes in from that, because it's so intricate. It's so, how do I want to say this? It's so precise in true material that is at a very advanced level of consciousness. So when I hear somebody from a very human consciousness that is speaking about like the love of right now and this and that, I'm sorry, it doesn't resonate with me at all. Like, and I only can say that because of this direct communication and this direct experience. So having said that, again, the other part that I really want to address is there's a lot of material about sharing what's happening right now between the 5G, why we're in quarantine, where 5G is being, for example, installed in many different settings. Yes, that is taking place. There's also, while we're in quarantine, there are all the arrests taking place. Yes. There's also all these things between the Federal Reserve and various different things that are taking place between this. And the other part of it is there's material that's being shared while it's being arrested. There are people that are being hung or killed, or the ones that are part of the Pedipheliac ring and all of that. That's been part of the White Alliance, that White Hats, that's been part of what's been ordered by the Galactic Federation of Light and what have you. And again, a couple of things I really want to address here. Not even for a second, I can even allow that vibration to be, it bounces off my system like this. The Galactic Federation of Light and the Intergalactic Councils of Light. So let's take Intergalactic Council of Light, for example. From these different star systems, there is a high council that sits in each one. And they meet at the intergalactic councils first. The intergalactic councils have many different beings that are part of that. And some of the angelic team and the ascended masters and also the Kohans and the legions of light are part of this. Now, what is so important about this, and there's a lot of some of these prayers you all do, some of the visions when we go into it and have these higher visions, it's all part of some of these higher visions for the new solutions of Earth are handed over, they review it. There's a full video I have on that, of what I explain how this is done. And then there's a team of dragons that works with them and then is able to either agree for these solutions and then for them to be implemented, or they're dissolved if they're not for the highest good of life. And then this intergalactic council is one part, sort of like a chapter, if you want to call it, that meets then with the Galactic Federation of Light. Now, why this is important is that not any of them ever will order a killing of another sentient being. So I want to really put this out there. So I want you to really check in with yourself. If you are supporting anything to do that is with killing of a life, and your consciousness even supports that, I'm sorry to say you're not vibrating in the vibration of the divine love, the divine law of one, the divine truth. It's not coming from that place. And what is clearing is also this lower dimensional consciousness that has played outside in, for example, the dark force of Illuminati. That's a part of each of us that we have had to transcend, transfigure, and literally resurrect out of. For those of you, if you join me on our Tuesday night meditation, Tuesday night, when we had the global meditation, 65 people gathered. It was so powerful in its love. Now, those of you, again, that have known me for years, you know my journey really started 20 years ago with the birth of my son. There's a video that I shared about that. And through the birth of my son and how sick he was, my whole world opened up as a Pandora box. Pandora box. And I started learning about, it was Zygot, the year of 1999 with Matrix coming out, then the Zygot, all of those things. And I started learning about, the Illuminati and all the dark, deep state and all of that. And I was so angry because I also learned about the pedophilia rings and all of that, and ties into the celebrity, ties into the music industry, the fashion industry, the politicians, all of that. And I withdrew all of my energy. You can look at a couple of my videos that I talk about all of this. Now, what happened is I was so angry at that time. I was so angry. I wanted to kill as much as I really wanted to, because I couldn't believe what was done to my child. And how could this happen under the government, the United States of America government would do this shit to its own people? I couldn't believe it back then. But that was part of my journey of discovering the ugly truth. And I took all that for 2 or 3 years. I transformed my whole life inside. I was a crazy woman. I learned everything about ingredients in the products and what it does, the toxins in your body. And I learned these toxins, these parabens that are put in this personal care products that create endocrine disruption in the body, that is passed on from the mother to the fetus that I didn't know, from the perfume, shampoo, conditioner, whatever, all of that. Then it also causes all this damage to the fetus, which had done to my son. And then he had created all this endocrine disruption, which all the doctors, he was this sort of like case in the medical books that all these doctors wanted to get a hold of, which I won't get into. I call him the miracle child. And it was also at that time that I turned to God. I had shut the door to the God or divine because I was very angry when my dad had died. All my shit had come up. So as a result of it, I returned back to divine, and I spoke. Some of you know this. I said, you did this to my son. You better have the answers for me and show me the way. And so from there, I started learning, and I went back to praying. And not religion, but that direct communication. So my son coming in was part of my reawakening and learning about the deep state. And I took all the anger, because when we are angry, there's an energy that wants to move out of you. And at that time, I was so angry, but my anger was so much, it would either destroy, because I wanted to destroy it, or I needed to create. So I created the first organic, holistic healing medi-spa in the whole US. I got all the certification. And for those of you that know, I'm kind of really crazy hardcore. Certifications, green company right here in the US to bring the education. But I couldn't get into the deep truth about any of these, but only what happens. My slogan was investment in your health, invest in your wellness rather than spending on your illness. So I wanted to make sure no other family went through what I went through, what we as a family went through. And that was part of me. But I had so much anger running out of me. And I started it also with Washington, D.C., with the Living Green community, collaborating with others. And then I created my entire product line. Imagine 350 product line of personal care, cosmetics, eco-conscious, tea line, aromatherapy line, raw vegan chocolates, everything toxin free, everything that was, again, vegan. And I worked with a 8-woman project, and also collaborated with International Lifeline Fund that had 4 projects for women in 4 different countries in Africa. So I was very involved, also part of a speaker. But what I'm trying to wrap up here was all this energy had to go somewhere, because I had learned deep, dark about what the US government does to its own people. And I couldn't go out in the street broadcast it that way. I had to do it through this creative way to allow my energy to be used as a vehicle of creation, the higher vision instead. And that's what I did for years. And that was also kind of a burnout, because I didn't have enough people at that time, because I was just the crazy mad woman who had so much passion about this, to bringing light to it, to bring light into this massive darkness that people were so engulfed in, including myself, because before the birth of my son, I didn't know. So anyway, moving forward, here we are, right? Here we are in this so-called epidemic, whether it's the 5G causing it, whether it's the man-made virus, whether it's the cover-up, whether it is part of the Earth's ascension, which all of them are, and whether all these miracles are happening, all of this. The one thing I can say, that I can really say, never, ever, ever in the communication that I've had between the Arcturians, the Sirians, the Lyrans, the Andromedans, the Intergalactic Councils, the Galactic Federation of Light, and many others, has there ever been a communication that is about doing harm? Never. Because that energy within us had to also transcend. I had to take all that anger, I created it, but I had to take it and resurrect it and really forgive it. And that took a really long time to forgive this dark force that has created this, which I unconsciously was part of, because I was supporting the product line. I was supporting all of this by my power of choosing products, spending the money on it. I was also supporting it. The other part of it was when we had this Tuesday night meditation, one of the most beautiful experiences I had in this was when I saw the golden light, as the golden cities of light had really surfaced. I was able to see the timeline of the global unity of light and love, the true Christed living beings. One of the most beautiful things that I did get to witness, that brought so much tears to me, that we as the collective awoken ones, we did not punish these dark beings, the celebrities, the politicians, the let's say the teachers or the priests and what have you. There wasn't that. We invited them to be their own salvation in clearing their timeline by inviting them to contribute back to society through their love, put their money back in rebuilding doing the good. And it brought so much tears to me. I had no anger. I had no sadness. I had no resentment towards these individuals who done the most horrific of the horrific crimes against humanity. What I had was compassion. And that to me was so remarkable to experience that, not just for me, so many that participated in Tuesday night meditation. And why I'm sharing this, because when you see a post, check in with your heart, check in with your beautiful, true heart. If it is about, okay, they're going to take down these individuals that have done so much crime. Great, take them down. But it's not about killing them, because we're only supporting the dark by that energy. And I really want to bring this up. Yes, bring them. Give them the opportunity to come to the light. Give them the opportunity to utilize the materialistic world that they have also been bought to. Yes, they have drank the children's blood. It's disgusting. I agree. But also give them the opportunity to allow these that had been plugged into, right, through the Star Force, through their own chips and programming, allow that to relieve and see there is a beautiful soul inside that too. Because of what I have news for all of you and all of us is that the dark also wants to transmute back into light. And that's why you, me, those of you are here, we are here to transcend all that. We inside these crystalline diamond bodies are able to bring the highest timelines through here. The timelines of true harmony, true vibration of crystalline light, the true Christed light by the crystalline clarity in us. And that does not include any level of violence, any level of violent thought, or violent action of any kind. So that's why I want you to really tune in. Even you listening to QAnon, listening to all of this, beautiful. Use your own discernment. Use your discernment with me in my post that I posted yesterday. Don't just follow me. Don't follow nothing and no one. Follow yourself. This is what's really moving through me. Like I was never a sheep to follow that. I ain't a sheep to follow spiritual garbage either, with all the respect. I'm here to follow me, like StarGate, this major one, on this 4-4. This is, some of it is put together by this being that hides behind the scene named Cobra, that changes his voice. He's so afraid to come in. And I'd like to share with you, I did meet this individual several years ago in one of my planetary work. He was the most paranoid, scared person I've ever met, representing the Galactic Federation of Light and Intel. Give me a freaking break. If you are in here and you're sharing, you are fully protected by the highest beam of light. I can't give my energy to that. I'm sorry. I will use my own discernment. This Jupiter crossing is important. It's a massive StarGate 444. There is the portal of this remarkable grounding, the golden frequency in us. Are you willing to allow it to be grounded in the golden frequency within you? Or are you going to just follow somebody that's trying to talk about the, crossing of the star systems? Yes, they are. But where in your own trajectory of the crossing of these inner planes happening that are creating this perfect divine alignment, the perfect resurrection of your own self, so that you can be the living vibration, the living garment. Through this ascension, you've ascended to a higher multiple dimensional reality, and you're descending it here as the golden being of light here on earth. And yet you want to still follow others. So what they're saying, what they're sharing, no, you got to follow yourself. If you're going to tune in to Saturday's Global, no, you're tuning in because you are that important. You are that sacred. You chose to incarnate at this time, here, right now, to take part of the global transformation, the global shift. So all of this that is also playing in the multiple dimensional reality timelines of the pandemic, the 5G, all of that has no impact in your direct reality, because your reality is co-creating the new dimensional frequency field in this now. So as it's creating in this now, it is the frequency behind it is the vibration of divine love as the ultimate fuel and the power in you. So you are contributing with all your magnificent asset on the planetary level, not because somebody put it together as Cobra, let's come together, but underneath it, there is a fear operating system, with all due respect. I really want to just say this, like really, really say this, because that's what's moving through me. So that I wrote on here, what's truly moving through me for Saturdays, and this is what's happening. So on another note, does this make sense, everyone? I'm fired up a little bit. Yeah, I'm fired up. And I get heated. No. So why am I sharing this? Next week, whichever day the internet goes out. Listen, so many of us have lived. Do you remember back in the day we had the phones that were like this? We had the home phones, we had to talk. We had no internet. We wrote letters. We played outside. We did our thing. We've become sort of like in this consciousness bought into that we need something. No, we don't need anything. But what is required is that key that's inside our heart. We're able to get through this darkness. This darkness is really like, if the internet go, how's that really dark? We just unplug, because it's our time to plug truly into the golden cable. I want to talk about the Arcturian technology. The years ago, I taught at it was called the New Humanity. There were 24 of us speakers in London. I was invited actually 6 years ago this April on the Cardinal Cross to speak, being an Arcturian StarSeed, having gone on the mothership Athena, what I experienced, and this technology that the Arcturians had showed me about the chakras and how to plug from the individuals that are in our lives that we really plugged into, and how to unplug it and plug it to the golden cable. I've taught this workshop in France. I taught it in London. I actually taught it in Washington, D.C. I taught it several places, including in Turkey. And how to like unplug from, it's kind of like a cable, we're plugged into each other, because we find that to be the way we get information, and this is very wrong. This darkness is time to really unplug and plug to the golden cable, the golden divine light cable, so you have a direct information coming in, like completely coming in. And Israel, you're saying it's hard to vibrate high when you're surrounded by zombies. Listen, you didn't incarnate here to be pleasing zombies. You incarnated it here to stand in your glorious divine light and vibrate that, so the zombies can raise up to see what's up. I got news for you. If you are trying to match the zombie, you're not going to be facilitating that in which you incarnated to facilitate, which is your beautiful divine light. And you said, Patricia, I want to learn more about elevating my own spiritual connection, but I only take the info that resonates in myself. Otherwise, a little good for you. Here's two other things. So let's get a couple of things really in your belief systems. Let's set this. You are a spirit in which your physical body is inside of your spirit. It's not the other way around. So there's nothing that you have to be a spiritual being. You already are. You don't have to develop it. You don't have to create it. You already are spirit and you're informed. So if you want to elevate your spiritual essence, it's tune in to the spirit that is you And the only way you tune in is the power of your divine love. Power of the divine love that nourishes this physical template, nourishes the emotional template, the mental template, the etheric template, and the ginormous spiritual template. You breathe it into you. You celebrate it. You dance. You enjoy it. It is through that you can access it and feel it. But if you're trying to do it with your head energy, you're never going to get there. And thank you so much, Caitlin. Focus on holding space with compassion. Of course, but hold this space and compassion first for yourself. Will you give yourself permission to have the highest level of love and compassion for you first, and the celebration, and also the gratitude that you chose to be here at this time? We've gone through, many of us, time where we only had typewriters. There was no internet. To get those ginormous cell phones, to then evolve. We've seen all these different timelines, and here we are, right? We've seen many different realities, and we've been prepared for 2K. We've been prepared for 2012. We keep being prepared, right? Nothing new. There's nothing new. Viruses released every single one. Big deal. Like, seriously, aren't we immune to this? But what has been very different is coming home to the true essence and vibrating completely in that true essence. So, hi, Tanya and Conchita, my dear sisters are here. Hello, Anika. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Robin and Nancy. Thank you all for your comments here as well. So that's also vibrating through me. And the other part of it, again, is during this quarantine time, no sacrifice, no compromise at all. Tomorrow, I was supposed to be on with Michael on a podcast with our dear sacred sister, Danielle, and I messaged her because I have a bunch of to-do lists. It's been very interesting. I've been so excited about this quarantine time to be able to take care of a whole bunch of things, but I've been more of service, more so than anything else. The amount of inquiries I've had for private transmissions of the crystalline diamond light body, the amount of consciousness guiding, like the amount of people are asking, requesting is quite remarkable. Not to mention, like on a daily basis on Messenger, I have like 100 messages, and a lot of people are uniting, and a lot of people also like having a really hard time how to get through. So the other part of it is important, and also my own daily practice to be able to manage all. On top of it, my own children, my mother, my former spouse who's kind of asleep but not really is awake, and yet there's this dynamic how to go through it. And then my friend, it was so beautiful to be able to tell her, no compromise, no sacrifice. I need this space. Can we reschedule? And she was so heart-standing, and that's all about that too. Can we be really heart-standing in this space and see what's going on? Personally, on a quarantine time, I couldn't be happier. We made our beautiful, we've been gardening a lot in our apartment, and yesterday there's a video we put, Michael and I was like, let's start taking these seeds that we cut and put them and creating like cucumbers and tomatoes and red pepper and jalapeno peppers. And it's just making me feel so excited because the limitation of the apartment is not stopping me from creating, the plants. We've been composting a lot, so excited for that. And my friend Netta has her land, so we've been taking it there, dropping it. The other part of it, we've been actually able to sleep, and experience that, and also lots of different foods that I love to make for Michael. I've been, creating quite a bit of that, and also these amazing visions, like for example, meeting the Metarians. Metarians are the extraterrestrial beings that most people don't know about. They're 12-dimensional beings that recently have come in. They are in violet color. The planet is violet pink, and they're in this remarkable violet attire, violet and gold, very much like a Saint Germain. frequency, and they do work with Saint Germain and Metatron. So I've been learning quite a bit about them, visiting their planet, and also learning how to communicate in the language. And then plus, they have this sort of like if you see those crystal bowls that are very clear, their heads are like that, and it's a little bit agity, and their eyes are a bit slanted, but there's no brain or anything like that, like how we have it, but it's like a ray of light in there. And I've been going to their planet, discovering things, and it's so amazing. And I shared this before. The other day, they had put these globes of this pink, it's more of a pinkish violet orb into my palms. And if you ever see, like, you go to Trader Joe's, you buy a bag of lemons, and there's that mash plastic that has holes in it that the lemons are in. So imagine that mash kind of fabric. So they put the orbs in here, and they said, open it up and place it around you. So it's been interesting. I've been opening it up, placing it around me, placing it around the area I live, placing it around Washington, D.C., placing around my loved ones, placing it around everyone, and just being a witness of its vibrational field that transmutes and transcends, very much like the violet flame, any impurity density. So we as beings of light are incarnated here to bring all of our higher goods. And through this quarantine, we have some time to sit in this space of our inner meditation, inner practice, and discover all of these other gifts that are literally being handed over to us. And so many of us are now, because of this quieter space, and because we're not sort of like, not, how do I want to say this? We're not dumping all this alcohol, all these toxins into our body, because there's a quarantine, we're inside. So there's room to breathe in this vibrational field. So many of you are having more contact with the multidimensional aspect of you, and many star brothers and things. Like on an everyday basis, I have people like, oh my God, honey, this showed up in my room. This showed up on my TV. This is ET contact. Of course it is. It's not over there. It's in here. You have the contact. Now it's being translated or transcommunicated right in your reality. So it's not so far out anymore. This is part of the big disclosure that's coming on. You all know this, but some of the average individuals may not know, and no problem. They will be awakened to it. So that's another beautiful thing. And Michael and I have been having fun with the meditations and sitting to see what we see together, and really just enjoying this time of being in this space, because the ability to also go through what seems on the outside very difficult, but also remembering that there is also the choice to go through it through joy and celebration. We don't have to be suffering going through it. All of us are in the same boat. All of our rent, like for example, yesterday the rent was due. We're like, okay, well, we had all of our events canceled in, March and April. We live on love gift offering, as you know. We're kind of not part of the system, so we're going to write a letter to the landlord. But we had zero concerns, zero fear, zero, because we know the higher team takes care of us. How, I don't know, but they always have. So why would I even give my energy to worry? Because I know that energy, worry or stress, ties into the dark force, that ties into the virus, that ties into the 5G, that ties in and all that. And some of you may have seen my post. I was like, bring on the freaking 5G. I blast that shit with my 5D. Give me a break. We're 5-dimensional higher right now. All we got to do be in this tutorial field like this, right? When we're in here, we blast this wide open. Do not give in to fear. All of these millimeter things, no problem. Stay in your vibration field. Fill it up with so much divine love. You don't ever have to be afraid how many 5Gs they're going to, they're going to plant during this quarantine across the US. Okay, let them, no problem. That's their desperate attempt. Guess what? We as the network of light are being even pulsed stronger by this divine love and light, even stronger, even more golden particles. How many of you are experiencing the stream of the golden particles? How many of you seeing it through your vibratory cells? How are you experiencing it literally in your body? What do you think that is? That's your whole team of light moving in viscerally in you, and they're able to handle all of this. So your job is not to go in fear. Your job is to stay here in light. And that's what I'm choosing. And the more you celebrate, the more you joy, the more you move the energy, the more you're able to vibrate this even higher, expand it more, and be a service to you, to those around you, in your community, in the building you're in, all of that. So I wanted to also share that with you. And the other part that I wanted to share was that, I'm just going on and on. All heated, all charged up. And the other part of it is, it's so beautiful. I just feel such a beautiful, beautiful place. The visions. I've been having so many visions of the new earth. Just out of curiosity, have you all been, on all of you joining here, let us know where you're joining from. I'd love to hear from you because I think there's a delay taking place. So I may not be able to see your comments very easily here, but I would love to hear from you. So let me know. Thank you so much. And the other part that I like to share is that this space of being able to feel such unity and compassion for everybody else, that we are all in the same boat together. Doesn't that feel so amazing? Doesn't it feel so amazing? Hi, Nancy. Hi, Lisa. Thank you for joining us from New Zealand. There's a lot of stuff happening there, sister, just like everywhere else. Let me hear from you. How you all doing? Are you gliding through this? Are you truly, are you stressed? Are you worried? Are you in joy? Are you in celebration? What's happening? Billingham West, what is that? WA. I'm sorry, I don't know where that is. Sorry, my geography sometimes is not good. Debbie, sounds familiar. I'm in a different dimensional field. Don't know what that is, Debbie. Hi, Lee. Thanks for joining. I'm going to let this lapse while you are allowing that to come in. I have somebody on YouTube, this person named Scott. What are we teaching our children? This state of unknowing requires so much of us. Yes, it does. I feel that our children are actually teaching us more so than anything else. Our children are truly holding that higher vibration for us, and they're making sure we're staying in our most incredible vibration of love and light. So Gina says, as I fall asleep, wake up, I see colored geometric shape and beautiful nature. Thank you so much. Myra says, moving between joy and stress, riding the wave, but feeling so much hope. Thank you, Myra. Gina, thank you for joining from Portugal. Demetrius is in London. Ozzy, hi Ozzy John, nice to see you. عید شما مبارک خواهر. مرسی. And Nancy is, I'm beginning a few, in begging a few weeks ago, I was a little fearful for my inner knowing. No, it was about to expansion. I saw this many years ago. Okay, thank you. Feeling better listening to you. Thank you, Sarah. I'm glad. Lisa, playfulness. Thank you. Conchetta. Conchetta is my dear sacred sister, everyone. We're learning compassion at a rapid rate and will continue to do so beyond what we could have. Exactly. My goodness. We have survived so many virus diseases in the past. Sure, Mary, Nida. Pure vulnerability, raw emotion. Nida is one of my sacred sisters. I love you, Nida. And we're writing this together. I get so happy bringing the compost to you. I'll be over later, dropping it off. So thank you for sharing, you all. It's amazing. It's so amazing. Caitlin, what say? By the way, let's also talk about yesterday. So the beginning, the first, second, and third of each month, what happens is the way the earth goes through its vibration field and it starts to align with the central sun to the galactic sun. We just, like, this one is a major one, and that's why your body is hurting quite a bit. So let me share this with you. If you started experiencing a lot of body ache, head pressure, shoulder ache, backache, like Michael from yesterday, he got up, he's like, oh my God, and you could feel the heaviness in the field. I want to talk about that. You're not alone. Nothing is wrong with you. So we did talk about it on Lisha's interview we were on last night, but let me speak of this. So the first, second, and third, what's happening is the from the central sun, actually from our Helios Vestas, which is our grandfather's sun right here, and that aligns with the central sun, that aligns with the galactic sun, that aligns with the source sun. So, and this is a major one that is happening on Wednesday. And each day as we get closer, there's more of that opening. When there's more of that opening within the gateways, what is happening, the stream of this light that is pouring in towards the planet is blasting it even more. So, and dark force in general like to use this streaming light because there's a lot of opening to implement their part. But those of us who are connecting with this light stream, what is happening is it's coming through us, it's going through all of our cells, and it's going through our DNA. Like yesterday in my meditation, one of the things that I saw was the DNA is a sonic wave. So these sound vibration that are encoded with our DNA are opening. As they open, there's this expansion. And when there's this expansion, it opens vibratory in each of our cells, where the cells start vibrating at a much faster speed of light. And as they're doing that, then whatever debris that is within these fields will be surfaced, because it is spiraling like this. Like if you do your finger like this, you see it starts to want to spiral up. And that's what's happening at a cellular level. So at your cellular level, you have your protons, you have your electrons, you have your neutron, protons, electrons. So protons are positively charged, electrons are negatively charged. And these two always have to balance each other. And the nucleus, the neutron, is neutral. But if the cell is more oxidized, right, it takes away the oxygen of the cell. And what happens is that it becomes heavy. And so a lot of these lower dimensional feelings are associated with that because the heavier energy. So, and that's what's stored within the fascia system of the body as well. But one of the things that happens is when we have these like these streams starting to come in yesterday, and it gets stronger today, it gets even more stronger tomorrow to Saturday, woo, blast. So the vibrational field of each cell, imagine 50 trillion cells, is vibrating higher and higher and higher and higher. So these debris that are inside of us are also coming up. They're not necessarily bad, but what it is they are part of this vibrational field that goes down this way and literally brings them up. And these are part of a lot that has been attached to our being from this incarnation, other incarnations, different planes of consciousness, and what have you. So it is naturally being cleansed out of us through this blasting light. And so your body does feel tired. Your body will feel achy. Your body will feel sort of like the pressures, because it's coming in to expand it, blast it open, blast it open. So your solar discs of light can start to open up and open up and open up. Your job would be to drink a lot of water, bless the water, and really fill it up. And then rest as much as you can. Put everything aside. If you're near water, go put your feet into the stream, into the water, into the ocean. Now they've closed the oceans, but if you're by like any kind of river, do that. If hold the plant, or put your hand in its the dirt of it, if you want to call it, or it's not dirt, soil of it. Let it ground your energy. The other thing is rest as much as you can. If the weather is sunny like today, go be bathed in the sun. Let the sun really help you. And also bless any ache. And just know the sun codes are being released from the back of the Atlas joint. So there's a lot of release of that, and it wants to come in. So if you resist it, it's going to not do what it's intended to do during this time, because the StarGate in you is opening. So if you know what's happening, you're going to start embracing it and not fight with it, not be angry at it, not be frustrated, and not to judge it that something is wrong with you. Something's actually very right with you. And all you require is to be horizontal, to get synchronized, so you're harmonized and you're able to do this. And I have to tell you, the higher you are in your joy, the less you're experiencing the bodily aches. Like from yesterday, I'm vibrating in a lot of joy. Michael has been a little bit more affected. So today today's really feeling it. So I said, please go be nature. So that's another thing. And this is going to intensify tomorrow, and it's going to intensify in terms of not your symptoms, the light stream, but it will only intensify in your body if you're resistant to it. So be harmonized with it, welcome it, so it can be in a stream flow with you. And that's what I wanted to share with you, because then 4-4 is amazing. So if you can be I'm going to be meditating at 4:44 p.m. Eastern. I'm sitting in the StarGate, as well as 11 a.m. The crossing of the Jupiter, if I'm not mistaken, is at 5-something p.m. or 9-something p.m. I don't remember, but that's another one. So there's several times tomorrow that you can tune into. And when you tune into it, tune in with all your love. The other thing that I want to share with you, again, on our silent meditation Tuesday night, one of the things that I saw that was so beautiful, brought a lot of joy to me, was I saw so many of these elder people that crossed over because of the virus or heart attack, where it's changing on the death certificate virus, because that's part of the dark agenda. Doesn't matter. There's all of them was part of their agreement. So they're now around Earth holding the light even stronger with all of us. So there's a beauty in this as well. If you can really give yourself permission, not see it from the lens of suffering, but see it from the lens of divinity and the divine plan, and this other reality that is also playing simultaneously right here, right now, where we can experience it slightly different. And if we tune into its joy and celebration, we know we're part of the divine plan. We're part of this great awakening. Now the masses are going to be awoken finally, because all has to be dismantled. We're part of the dismantling, but not for us to go crush it, for us to stand in its light as everything else is being crushed around us. And that's part of our crystalline diamond light body. I mean, that's for those of you who've been activated in it. You know exactly how to do this. I feel those of you who've not been activated in it, you can still visualize yourself in a golden ball of light and hone that energy. And the crystalline diamond light body has been very specific that I've done the activations this whole 2019, and also through the group one. But if any of you interested, the whole explanation and it's like a 4-hour group event that I had. I've facilitated 7 different times in 2019. It's a 4-hour video. If you feel called to it, it does go through activating the crystalline diamond light body, the crystalline diamond heart, the crystalline diamond light body, and it explains it very detailed, but you do have to prepare your body, and you got to be ready for it. You can email me, HoniB, at honeyb1111@gmail.com, and I send you the full email that goes out to everybody else, because it is a full activation transmission. I can't give you the sound schedule on that or anything like that, because that's in the private session. But if you're interested to that, you can definitely use that, and you offer your true love gift offering to that for this 4 hours, and let that be also part of your light body in this crystalline diamond in this now. If you feel called to it, I'm more than happy to provide that. But you got to show up. I can't just provide it for you like that. Like, you got to be really called to it and willing to be like, all right, this is for me, and I'm ready, and I'm going to follow kind of the strict guideline, because it requires that. It is an activation. And for those of you who, please, thank you for your patience, who reached out for the actual private session. I'm still booked up. I'm trying to figure everything out. Like, again, that's another one. I'm behind so many emails. I mean, there's just so many. We're just getting through what we can. And so I'm doing the best I can, but I'll respond as much as I can. Anyway, so much love to everybody. Oh, look, Maida is on. I love you, Maida, so much. I love you. And love you all so much. So that's what kind of wraps up what's been going through me. I'm excited for this weekend. I'm excited for next week. I'm excited for the resurrection, this whole biblical, and the real reality show that we all signed up to be a witness. And we are being a witness to it. We don't have to be in it. Be a great witness to it, and choose to move through it through joy and celebration, because that option exists. And also lots of compassion for a lot of kids right now. I'm so happy so many kids are at home with their family. And just, I ask every morning for the highest light from the angels surrounding these children, so they're not in these institutions. And I'm so grateful also, really, families being able to spend time with each other as much as possible in nature, and just things just settling. And the beautiful thing is we're all together, and we'll move through it together. It's going to be amazing. And anyway, so much love to all of you. Please do join us on Tuesday night on the YouTube channel of me and Michael's at Ascension Alchemist. We go live at 7:45 p.m. Eastern. That is at 4:45 p.m. Pacific time. And that's a very powerful experience. We had 65 people that joined us. I mean, it was remarkable. And thank you for this page. I missed you all. It's been a while I was live in here. And if any of the information resonates, great. If it doesn't, toss it out. I'm not here to please, as I always say, none of you. And I'm not here to really impress any of you. I'm here to just share my truth, live in what's called to me, and decipher the information. And I feel what I'm really feeling called with Michael is maybe next week to go into a full live transmission of channeling. It's been a while that I've done that, and it is fully incorporated. So you will see me shapeshift. My mouth changes, different voice, different presence enter my physical vessel, and we can see who will come in to bring information. I've never done it on a live stream. I've only done it on events, and maybe we'll make this available. And perhaps what I will do is have Michael ask questions, or if you have specific questions, send it to Michael. Nothing individual, but more on a collective. send it to Michael, and let's see who will answer those questions. And I personally don't want to know any of this. So you can send it to Michael at abramson7@gmail.com. So that way I don't know anything about it, my consciousness. So when I go into it, for some of you, it's going to be kind of strange if you haven't seen me go into a channel, which most of you haven't, unless you've come to my event. I am a fully incorporated TransMedium channeler, and there's a full presence you will see that enters, and what happens. It'll be interesting for the material to come in. Anyway, love you all. Have a beautiful, blessed day. I'm so glad I had a chance to be with you all. If I didn't answer anything, please nudge me, let me know. I'll look at this later. And I'm going to go be in the sun a little bit now. I got a bunch of things to take care of too. And see you all on Saturday. Saturday the 4th for the massive global meditation. It's going to be amazing. Bye-bye, everyone.